Good evening from Swansea, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. And boy, oh boy, do we have a big show today, because last night was All Elite Wrestling weekly Saturday night TV show Collision, and it really was a newsworthy one. Jade Cargil returned. Bryan Danielson announced that he is soon to be retiring, and we found out the finals for the AEW Eliminator World Championship Tournament. There's a lot to get into, but before we do, let me introduce the panel for today's show. Firstly, the co-host of the show, Clark Taylor. How are things, Clark?
I'm doing well. I'm stoked to be here. It's funny. I actually called this more of a normal weekend in wrestling yesterday, and I guess you could say that given the lack of pay-per-views. Although then we had Impact, right, getting taped and the hype surrounding that, and then we had Collision last night. Things being advanced, headed into Grand Slam, and we had the UFC. If you're a combat sports fan, Saturday was awesome, and Saturday nights are all right for fighting, just as they say in that Collision opener. It was a blast. And I'm stoked to be here on this fine Sunday at noon.
Absolutely. It's a great day to be here. Saturday nights are great for fighting, but Sundays are great for talking fight. Also joining us, we have the host of Take It to the Table, Chaos. How are things, Chaos?
What's good? What's good? What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday, everybody. You know what that means. Jam-packed weekend, not only just for pretty much all factors of wrestling, both pro wrestling and also in MMA as well. So I'm hyped for this episode. I ain't gonna delay anything. Let's get straight to it, shall we?
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, the man who goes by many names, but for right now, to start off the show, we'll just call him Carter Crisp. How are things, Carter?
I'm good, Ben. Thank you. I thought last night was thought it was a stacked card, great day of combat sports, but we'll only be talking about ye old Paretsu today, or I don't know if I said that right, but some pro wrestling. Let's get at it.
Absolutely, let's jump right into things, right? Usually we run through things in the order of the show, but AEW Collision was ordered a little bit weirdly, and on this show we like to start doing a 15-minute everybody talk subject and then end with a 15-minute everybody talk subject. However, I don't think we could talk about Jon Moxley versus Action Andretti for 15 minutes, so instead we're going to start it by talking about Roderick Strong facing Darby Allin. Of course, this was a semi-final match in AEW's World Championship Eliminator Tournament, where the winner will face MJF at Grand Slam in a couple of weeks' time. A week Wednesday now, actually. But Roderick Strong versus Darby Allin last night on AEW Collision. On the way to the ring, Darby Allin was attacked backstage by Luchasaurus and Christian Cage. The feud, the beef, the rivalry between those guys seemingly still isn't over. But Nick Wayne managed to pick Darby Allin up and take him down to the ring, and Darby Allin and Roderick Strong put on a great match. Of course, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett were at ringside with Roderick Strong. The new alliance they have together remains to be strong, pun intended. But it was a very fun match between the two. Of course, Roderick Strong got the win in the end. Not too surprising, but very, very strong match. Now, we'll get into what happened after the match between Nick Wayne and AR Fox in just a little bit. But Clark, kick things off here. Give me your thoughts on Strong versus Allin. And are you happy that Strong's progressing in this tournament?
I dug the match. I don't mind Strong getting the win. It made sense. I loved the way they set up the pre-match beatdown on Darby to have him come in more than just a little bit compromised to start the match itself, right? It doesn't hurt Darby taking the loss in this tournament here. It advanced his storyline as well. I like seeing Roderick Strong in this. My only fear is, and we're going to talk about Joe later, but I just want Joe and Max. And so it does make me nervous seeing Roddy Strong get close to maybe being the guy that sneaks that rug out from under us and ends up on the main event of Grand Slam. And that would bother me. As much as I like Roderick Strong, the wrestler, and as much as I dig the Kingdom and what they've done, this Joe MJF thing needs to be paid off because it's one of the best storylines going. It's got history all the way back to NXT, as well as with Joe shoving him at this very event, right? And so that's the match that I want to see at least at the big show at Arthur Ashe. And that as long as we get there, I don't mind Roderick Strong playing this role along the way because I do want to see what happens with him and MJF and Adam Cole paid off eventually. Not in the main event at Grand Slam.
Fair enough. I mean, listen, I will say this on the matter, though, right? For me personally, I think that this might be the most I'm certain that this is the most interesting Roderick Strong has been in AEW. I think we 100% need to see Joe versus MJF. But Roderick Strong versus MJF, I know you guys spoke about it the other day on Throwback Thursday. You guys spoke about it, and you said doing Strong versus MJF at Grand Slam could cause a bit of an outrage. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they could get away with it. I think the rest of the card is stacked. Roderick Strong is somebody who's well liked, and MJF's a draw on his own at this point.
I hear you there. I still think what was set up with Joe on Dynamite has outweighed anything that they've set up with Roderick Strong and Cole and Max. I want to see Joe and Max. That's the money match in my eyes.
But would you, when you say that's the money match, well, then maybe you should pay money for it and pay the $50 for it on pay-per-view and then get for free Roderick Strong versus MJF on cable.
I hear that argument too. I just think Grand Slam is a bit of a litmus test because you're in enemy territory. Yeah. WWE was the New York territory, right? And you have Arthur Ashe there. This is one of their yearly premiere shows, like All Out. That's in Chicago, right? Double or Nothing Vegas. And you're going to get the show at Daly's Place, and you're going to get the show at Arthur Ashe. And I really, really think it's important for AEW to deliver on this Arthur Ashe show. And so while I understand the logic of saving Joe and Max for a pay-per-view, I think this is about as close to a televised pay-per-view as you can get for AEW.
I'll agree with that, and so does Eric Novak. Shout out to Wrestling Republic's interviewer, Eric Novak. Make sure to check out the All Real Wrestling podcast, guys, on YouTube. But, Roderick Strong, Darby Allin, these guys, they had a fun match against each other, right? Roderick Strong is advancing, like you said. It's getting a little bit, I'm not nervous, but I'm a little bit shaky. Don't know if anybody gets that reference, but if you know, you know. But I mean, it could go either way. It really, really good, but it really could. But Carter, what did you think about Roderick Strong versus Darby Allin? And what do you think about this, this relationship currently between Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett on AEW TV?
I think it's hilarious, but Clark, I don't think there's anything to worry about. I think Roddy with that bad neck, he's gonna get smashed by Joe. Joe's gonna take one neck. He might take another neck with MJF. He's just a wrecking ball. So Clark, don't worry about it. Joe's got this handled. Relax. Joe is gonna kill Roddy, so it's fine. It's fine. But no, I thought it was a great match. I mean, I think Collision is kind of turning into a little bit of a AEW versus ROH type deal, and I'm here for it. I thought it was a fun match. I mean, it was nice giving Darby a little handicap so he doesn't get totally squashed by I don't want to call him a Ring of Honor guy, but he kind of is. And I love the promo. I mean, love the storyline. I'm thinking about showing up to my gym with a neck brace this week, actually, because I have one more week. But I think it's hilarious. It's great. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. It is. It's comedy, the neck brace. It's something which I personally I'm quite liking. And he's, by the way, people are seeing Roderick Strong in airports, and he's even wearing it in airports. That's just how good he is staying into this gimmick right now. But of course, I briefly mentioned it a minute ago, but Nick Wayne, of course, helped Darby Allin to the ring. AR Fox came in the middle of the match to help Darby Allin. In the end, Darby still lost, and Nick Wayne and AR Fox are still not on the same page, and I can understand why. I mean, AR Fox literally beat up Nick Wayne in his own home so much that he was just completely and utterly bleeding. I hated it. Not hated it. I really liked what they did there, but I hate the fact that Darby is now just back best friends with AR Fox again. If I was Nick Wayne, I'd be asking Darby Allin questions. Why are you doing this? Why are you suddenly friends with him again? That's not your decision to make. But it seemingly is, and I feel like the tensions between AR Fox and Nick Wayne are increasing by the minute. And because of that, I think the tensions between Nick Wayne and Darby will increase as well. On Dynamite, Nick Wayne and Darby had a great match. They shook hands after it, all that good stuff, but I think that is to just throw us off a little bit, because everybody said this time last week that Nick Wayne was going to turn heel, and I still think that is coming. But Chaos, give me your thoughts. Do you think we're setting up right now for a Nick Wayne heel turn?
I think it's leaning more likely like that. At first I wasn't really paying too much mind about it, but except for on focusing on AR Fox's side, because I felt it was very light character assassination. The way they, he turned heel, he assaulted him at the wrestling training school, and all of a sudden he's good buddies with Darby Allin all of a sudden. And obviously the other one that should be feeling away about this is Nick Wayne. So yeah, I think definitely it's gonna be feeling like a heel turn. Can I imagine him to be in a heel? I don't know. Right now, it kind of reminds me of I don't know if you guys remember in WWE CW, there was this guy. He was very pale, looked very generic, but it was very over. And then when they turned him heel, he was just like that pretty much killed him off, and I think that's when they released him shortly after. I have to think of the name. Eventually, it will come back to me. But yeah, it was a very green guy, had a very generic name and everything, but it was in WWE CW. Anyway, yeah, that's what he feels like. If they turn him heel, that might come back to bite him. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I love their match. I think that was just obviously, like you said, that was just a way to throw us off for the time being. And just test the waters of what they could obviously deliver when they actually do become enemies at the end, because yeah, them two can go. And Nick Wayne, I do love his work. He has huge potential. But yeah, I think it's most likely, surely it has to lead to a Nick Wayne heel turn.
Yeah, I will agree with you there. I don't know why they're turning Nick Wayne heel so early. I really, really don't. And I know exactly who you're talking about as well, the ECW reference.
ECW bugging reference. Me. I can't put my finger on the name.
And I can't. Yes. I mean, that says a lot, though. The fact that it's so generic that we can't even remember the name now. So I'll
get back to you on that. Don't worry.
I hope the same thing doesn't, happen. Sure. I don't really know why we need to turn Nick Wayne heel. This entire storyline slightly bugging me, but let's hope I'm wrong, because let's face it, I've been wrong in recent months a lot when I've doubted things.
And what I would add that's even more bizarre about it is, like, Nick Wayne, we've already got these multi-generational talents. I mean, I guess, Luke Perry's son, actor, stuff, but kind of playing the spoiled brat. So what kind of heel can Nick Wayne be that's not that? As a 19-year-old kid? That's the part that makes me nervous, is like, he's so talented. I think we show off his youth as a babyface first before we get to spoiled, right?
Yeah,
I agree. Hand it to him because, Buddy Wayne's a legend, right?
Okay.
Who is it?
Sorry. Yeah, Colin Delaney.
Colin Delaney. That's right. Colin.
You could have given me 1,000 guesses and I wouldn't have remembered that. But and I mean, that says it all. I remember who it is and I don't remember the name. Even after you've said it, I can
see his face.
I would not have guessed that. Yeah, I can see his face. I can't even see him with the name. But anyway, let's now move on and let's talk. Let's now talk about a young talent in AEW. Somebody who, I think we all thought had a lot of potential just a few months ago. I mean, he came into AEW and he beat Chris Jericho. I mean, barely anybody does that. Never mind when you first come into the company and do that. But Action Andretti, and he faced Jon Moxley for the AEW International Championship last night on AEW Collision. And it was a fun opener. It was good, but it was... I mean, that's about it, really. There was no story there. There didn't need to be a story. You know, the fans got to see Jon Moxley. Action Andretti got a little bit of a rub and all of that. Crowd loved it. Fun opener for the show. Not much to complain about. But when they, they started building up Action Andretti when he first came in like he could be a top star. He's now done absolutely nothing since. He's doing some stuff in the tag team division in Ring of Honor with Dante Martin. And I think at times on Rampage as well. But come on. If you're going to build him up to be one of the next big things, you got to build him up. Be consistent with it. I don't know if he's done something wrong and they've decided, hang on, we're not going to push him. But you got to do something with him. This match was good, but let's either see more or less of Action Andretti. Are you going to push him or are you not going to push him? Make your mind up, because he's not going to get any, he's not going to get any younger. Right now, you've got a young star. Do something with him. Chaos, give me your take on Action Andretti versus Jon Moxley.
Boy, what really threw me off regarding Action Andretti is when before the match started and you saw his graphic, apparently his AEW record so far is 7 of 7. I want to know, where did 75% of these matches happen? Because this guy is so in and out of AEW. I was gonna make a cheeky reference there. I'm not gonna say that, but it was just so out of nowhere. I mean, I like Action Andretti. I thought that they were shooting him to the moon. Shout out to Cameron Grimes when he beat Chris Jericho. But it's just so stop and start. I think he's probably one of the most unlucky stop and start wrestlers on the roster, because he has so much potential. I don't know, maybe he has rubbed some people the wrong way. Maybe he said something wrong about Punk, and then that kind of buried him as well. I don't know, but it's for what the match was. It was fine. It was solid. It was a TV match. It was fine for what it was. Moxley, I'm getting more of Moxley. Did he bleed in this match? I can't remember. No, he didn't bleed. He did not bleed.
He didn't.
No? That's
a couple
weird.
of matches in a row now. He's putting together a string of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's actually been able to patch himself up. He's got all the leaks out of the way. That's cool. But it was fine. It was a standard TV match. Good opener. Warmed the crowd up. And just hopefully, they put Action Andretti, give him something more substantial in terms of a gimmick. Because right now he does feel like a generic high flyer, if you will. He just doesn't mean they have to turn him heel. Just give him something more to work with. Otherwise, he's just going to get lost in the shuffle again, and then somehow end up with 17-17 AEW record, and we don't know how he got that. So we'll see how it goes.
I've got to agree with you there, Chaos. I mean, we got Brett Sternberg in the comments. Shout out, Brett, and he is saying that Action Andretti needs a gimmick, and he doesn't think that he's made enough of an impact besides the first match because nobody expected it. Oh no, and Brett is saying, put Action Andretti and Austin Theory in a group and call them the Undesirables.
Yes.
But you know what? They might just get over.
Honestly,
they might be so plain that they might get over.
He needs to give us a little more action and a little less Andretti is what I would say is the move.
I mean, when you say because it's so plain, I mean, ain't that what they're kind of doing with Grayson Waller? Because I find him plain as hell. So maybe that's your answer right there. Yeah, shots fired. I don't like Grayson Waller.
I like that. Is he your Theory?
Sorry?
Is he like what Theory is to me? Is Waller your WWE Theory?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I don't mind. I mean, I can see.
I respect that.
I can see the complaints about Theory. I really can. I can't see them with Grayson Waller. I think the guy has what Austin Theory lacks, and that is charisma. So I don't have an issue with him. He is a bit generic, but I think he's just the plug and play heel with an interview show that can help other people. Bit basic. He likely won't main event at WrestleMania, but just a good hand And I feel like that gets used as an insult in wrestling quite a bit, when in actuality, it's one of the most important roles on the roster. But let's now move on and let's talk about Chris Statlander, right? Because Chris Statlander faced Robin Renegade. It was fine. Nothing special at all, but a fine match. And Chris Statlander retained the championship. But this entire Chris Statlander reign so far has felt a bit bland to me. It really, really has. Ever since Jade Cargill lost that championship. Well, Jade Cargill is back. She returned on AEW Collision to save Chris Statlander from the Renegade Sisters. However, she then turned on Chris Statlander, and it seems like Jade Cargill is coming back for the TBS Championship. And I don't like this. And I'll tell you why. Jade Cargill is such a star. She lost that championship. She went away for a couple of months. She's back. She's got a lot of momentum. She should be going for the World AEW Women's Championship, not the mid-card one. I was not a fan of this because of that reason. I thought now is the perfect time to throw Jade Cargill in that main event picture. She's arguably the biggest star AEW's women's division has to offer, and she's homegrown. I don't know what they're doing with her. I really, really don't. I have no interest in seeing Statlander versus Cargill again, because if Cargill loses, then, well, her momentum's gone. And if Statlander loses, then it was pointless Jade ever dropping the title. This one was not for me. Clark, you're a big Jade Cargill fan. Give me your take on this.
I'm just so stoked that she's back. I mean, I think last night when her music hit, we were with all the guys that watched the UFC show, and I yelled that B word so loud at the top of my lungs, I scared 4 legitimate jiu-jitsu guys from Carter's gym to death. They were like,
Blue
what is he
belt up.
talking about? They're like, what is going on? This kid's way too excited. The choke slam, nothing short of delightful. I love Jade Cargill. She's so dang good. Give her both titles. I don't care. She made that TBS title what it was. She made it what it is now. Give it back to her and get the World one too. If we're going to have a belt collector, make it Jade Cargill. She's so dang good. Just the look on her face of disgust when she hit the ramp before she stomped down. Oh, it was so great. It was like, yeah, watch this. I mean, the expressions, the physicality, it's such great pro wrestling. It's amazing. And how far she's come since she's debuted is impressive to me every single time. I don't have a bad word to say about Jade Cargill. I don't mind the segment. I understand your gripes about putting her back immediately in a rivalry with Statlander, but give her all the belts. It doesn't matter, because if she's carrying the TBS title, it's the most important belt in the women's division in AEW. I don't care what anyone says about
I'm
what's going on with the world.
argue with that straight away, because I like the idea of her being a belt collector, but if that was the storyline, if that was the direction they were going to go, then she shouldn't have lost the TBS belt.
Right.
Like they should have just kept that reign going, had her, hold it for, a couple of years, maybe even, have her win the women's championship and lose that in that time, but keep hold of that TBS one. And instead they made her drop that. Now she's going to win it back. And then you expect me to believe that she can go for another championship again. I don't like it. I mean, I really don't.
You still have the streak. And remember, she did wrestle twice to lose. So, that's
a fair point, but you should have done, Statlander versus Cargill as soon as she
agree. But I mean,
they did that. They should have done that match again straight away. Cargill loses, and then she takes the time off. So at least she's got
it's always
that time.
2020, Ben, but I will say, remember, a few months ago, we weren't sure if she was coming back at all. And it's just good to have Jade back
I'm
in the mix, ready to go.
Back. But she should be the face on every poster.
Yeah, let's get the real Jade Statlander match this time, though. I don't mind that. Get that out of the way. Because you know what? There's not a lot of women on the roster that can stand eye to eye with Jade Cargill and have us take seriously could beat her besides Statlander. So I don't mind that for her. Inject her right back into the mix. If you're going to do it, right? Because I don't know how she would fit into the world title storylines right now. That's my only issue, right? Because Jade Saraya, I have no interest in. That's a different story that's being told.
True. I mean, obviously they are setting up for
Jade's
Saraya
not gonna
versus
throw, and we know
Ron.
Saraya with the neck, for lack of a better way to put it, she's not getting thrown around by Jade the way that you would have it. Like if
True.
if the title was on Ruby Soho, Tony Storm, Dr. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, anyone like that. Now you have Jade in that match, but as great as Jade is, and as great as she's become, bell to bell, the moveset is so explosive and so violent. Her and Saraya, I don't think is almost an option. I really don't.
That's a good point. That is a very fair point. But then feud her with feud her with Dr. Britt Baker. Have a feud which isn't for the championship and just build her while you're waiting to put her in the world title picture. Because the way that they're doing it now, I mean, it's a lose-lose for me. She wins that championship, well, I think fans will turn on her more than the heel. I think she'll get go-away heat. I think it'd be the Darby Allin, Cody Rhodes even-esque, but Cody Rhodes is probably better comparison-esque treatment where they win the title so many times and they hold it for so much, fans just get frustrated with it. I really feel we could go in that direction. Also, we've seen it play out. And then if we do it the other way, then and Jade loses, then she's lost the momentum. It's a lose-lose situation unless they have something planned where she's going to lose and then there's going to be some type of angle behind it. But I don't think her character needs to change. I think her character's already good enough in that world title picture.
She just needs to be Jade Cargill. That's the thing. I think it was more of a timing issue than it is anything else. It's a timing of what the world title picture looked like when she was ready to come back.
That's a fair point.
And that I like, because I agree with a lot of what you said, right? Like, I still am excited to see a legitimate Statlander Cargill payoff match. That's not after a squeeze in match. It's not like a quick one. It's like a real rivalry and match and story. Like I'm fine with that. At the end of the day, what they do with it, I'm concerned. That's where I do see a lot of your points, right? What they do after coming out of whatever this is.
I mean, you know me, I like to think long term. And that's what scares me about this, right? In the moment, I am happy Jade's back. I'm delighted Jade's back. She's one of the best homegrown stars they have. But now let's talk about somebody who's not a homegrown star in AEW, but somebody who cares a lot about AEW, and that is Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, because he came out last night on AEW Collision and he revealed that in the next 12 months he will be retiring. He revealed that he promised his daughter that he will retire before she turns 7. So it does look like he will be wrapping things up within the next year, but he has 1 year to do everything in the wrestling business that he has ever wanted to do. And I have a feeling that this is going to be a very good year for Bryan Danielson fans indeed. Ricky Starks then interrupted him with the artist formerly known as Big Cass, now known as what's his name now? Completely sorry, Chaos, I think you're muted.
Big Bill, can you hear me?
Big Bill, there we are.
Bill,
For some reason,
hello?
My mic wasn't picking that up now. Technical difficulty over. Big Bill, that's the one. Big Bill, of course. Big Bill took out Bryan Danielson, and then Ricky Starks joined in. Before that, it looked like Ricky Starks might be getting an invite to the BCC, but no, turned down. Ricky Starks, Big Bill took out Bryan Danielson before Jon Moxley made the save, setting up Big Bill versus Jon Moxley for next week on AEW Dynamite. But Carter, give me your thoughts on this promo, right? What do you want to see from Bryan Danielson in these next 12 months before he hangs up his boots and finishes in professional wrestling, and what will certainly be a very sad day for the wrestling business?
This is absolutely a sad day, and I would like to apologize. Carter has left the building, and Cardi Cornett is here. I am from the South, and by the South, I mean Southern California. And Bryan Danielson, he held up our promotion, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, like nothing else, man. And he is holding up AEW. He is a wrestler's wrestler. He is the exact opposite of Twinkle Toes. We're going to have a lifetime of Twinkle Toes, but gentlemen, you enjoy this next year of chops, figure 4 leg locks, and suplexes. I think it's great. Bryan, thank you so much for your years. You enjoy your retirement. We love you. We appreciate you. A true wrestler's wrestler. Cardi Cornett out. That's about all I have to say about that.
Oh, I'm absolutely loving Cardi Cornett.
That's electric. That is, it gets better every time.
We'll miss you, Bryan.
It sincerely gets better every time. I can't believe we got Cornette on the show again, too. It's just amazing.
Oh, I know.
What an honor.
No Twinkle Toes, that's for sure. That day,
no Twinkle Toes.
Yeah. No, I mean he's a wrestler's wrestler, you know, and it's nice to see him retire, you know, at a good age, you know, and he's really given a lot to the business. So I mean, in all seriousness, from me and my Cornette cousin,
both characters are fans of Bryan.
The three faces of Carter. But now let's go to the comments because Brett wants to see Bryan Danielson have a match in every company before he retires. I mean, that would be an absolutely lovely gesture, right? And I think it's not impossible, but I actually think it's now less likely than it would have been before because I'm not sure if Endeavor would, be okay with having somebody wrestle on AEW one week, WWE the next, AEW then the next after that. I don't know if something that Endeavor would allow, because he would come down to them now. Something like that, a call like that. The product will be up to WWE, right? Will be up to Triple H, Nick Khan above him, and then technically Vince McMahon above him, and then Ari Emanuel, right? But I can't see that happening. I can't see Endeavor being like, yeah, fine.
Clarky Meltzer wants to see Bryan Danielson versus Okada in the Tokyo Dome.
18 stars.
115 stars.
I also feel
you get a star. You get a star.
I don't know what's going on with your mic, Chaos.
Yeah,
I cannot hear you whatsoever.
It's not me. What are you about? Hold on.
Oh, there you go.
No, I can't. I can
you guys hear me?
No, yeah.
What the?
Oh,
now you're gone again.
AEW would love to have. Oh my gosh! What the?
Oh man.
They cut off perfectly that time.
He's saying great things. We just can't hear him.
AEW would love to have, and whatever is next, I know is going to be electric.
I don't know what's happening on your end, Chaos. But we can hear about 1 in every 50 words. Well, actually, we should have 5 words in a row, then not the next 60. But
we can see him.
You can see him. The passion. I'm so curious too, because I know he's saying good stuff. Ooh, you got a hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't see you now.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
My God. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we can't anymore.
No way.
Well.
No way.
This is golden.
I'll just have to fill it.
Let's move on to the final of the AEW Grand Slam World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Seriously, can they just stop with these Eliminator Tournament names? I had to go at them for this last time. It gets more confusing. I don't know what one's which. But anyway, Samoa Joe faced Penta El Zero in the other semi-final match in the main event of AEW Collision. And as you guys would expect, this was a very fun banger of a bout. Samoa Joe, Penta El Zero, you can't really go wrong thinking about it, but there was one spot I liked more than anything else, and that's when Penta did the dive to the outside to try and put Joe through a table, and Joe just did his casual walk away from it, and Penta just went through the table as Joe was just walking away. It was absolutely golden. Top stuff indeed. For me, maybe the spot of the night with everything. with everything considered in that. But that now confirms that the final of the tournament will be Samoa Joe versus Roderick Strong, two competitors who very easily could win. Like, this one really, really could go either way. We'll talk about who will win more on the Wednesday show. Let's firstly talk right now. Samoa Joe, Penta, who do you think will walk away with the victory? Who do you think will walk away? It's happened. What did you think about the match, Carter?
I thought it was great. I mean, I think you have two great talents in AEW between Penta and Joe. And sorry, I'm like switching between Carter and Cornette. I don't know who I am right now, but no, it was a fantastic match. I mean, Joe is holding up Collision beautifully, and then, I mean, I'm calling it. I would bet my mortgage that Joe is going to smash Roddy. I mean, Clark, you got nothing to worry about. If Joe loses, I'm gonna feel. This is Cornette talking, so don't ask Carter about this, but Cornette is guaranteeing a win. Joe over Strong. So y'all got nothing to worry about. But it's Joe and Penta, one of the greatest luchadors in the business and one of the greatest just big boys just smashing people's necks, not getting hit. It's good stuff. It's great stuff. It's good wrestling. What more can I say?
That was like a short exorcism.
Yeah, I mean,
he couldn't shake
right.
He was not do the impression. He couldn't shake it. He just went right back into it.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, a lot of wrestlers, right, have struggled with, separating kayfabe from reality. And Carter's done this gimmick for 1 week, and he's already completely
just took over his body. That's who he's become.
Yeah,
he's gonna start talking at work like that too.
Hold up.
Just in a company meeting.
I better not hear about that Tokyo Dome. Sorry.
It's too good.
I can't help myself. I just cannot help myself.
He'll start saying, "Is this paper made by Twinkle Toes?"
Twinkle Toes.
This would be 6 stars in the Tokyo Dome. But what about you, Chaos? Samoa Joe, Pentagon, what do you think about this match? Let's see if we can hear you. Can't hear him, can we? No. Oh, it was worth a try.
What's
worth a shot?
Yes, we're going to Clark.
Anyone?
Clark, I'm waiting. Are you back?
No.
Yeah. Okay. No, apparently. No. Okay. Clark, what about you? What did you think about the main event?
So, I mean, one of those matches, it's fun. I think Pentagon is amazing. One of my favorite wrestlers on the planet. Same with Ray Phoenix. I loved the spot. Like you said, the walkaway spot is one of my favorite Joe spots there is. Penta torpedoed through that table. That him selling it makes that as good as Joe does, and I got to give him credit there. I know you talked about who might win the tournament, or you talked about how we're going to discuss who might win the tournament on Wednesday. I just go back to my same thing I said earlier, though, which is please just give us Joe. I really like Roddy Strong. I understand the story. It's something we can pay off. But Samoa Joe is ready for MJF. It's clear. I'm ready for it. I want to see it. I need to see it. I'm excited to see it. And not only that, Carter made a great point earlier. He's going to take 2 necks. We've talked about MJF's neck being messed up lately too. So not just Roddy's already damaged one, but Max's too. And let's keep Max a babyface for 1 more week. We don't need to do this Roderick Strong thing just yet. It's definitely time for Joe and Max. That's my opinion, personally. As far as the match last night, I could watch Joe and Penta wrestle every day. That's no problem. I mean, it's just stiff. It's old school and it's new school. It's perfect. It's the style of wrestling that I really like to see because it mixes a little bit of everything. You get the powerhouse moveset that Joe has, the technical moveset that Joe has. Pentagon is underrated technically too. And then you add in the lucha style. It's a matchup that I could watch over and over without question. And I'm excited that happened in the semifinal. I don't know that the final match will actually be a more entertaining bell-to-bell match of this tournament. Roddy Strong and Joe than Joe and Penta was. I don't know that matchup is capable of living up
Wow, okay. I'm beginning to think you're a Roderick Strong hater, Clark.
I'm not. I'm a huge
winding
Roddy
you
fan.
up.
I promise.
I'm winding
on that.
you
I
up.
really
I know
am
you
not.
are. He is.
Yeah.
He is. Chaos, are you back? He's not back. But look who is back. Carty Cornette is back.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's good wrestling. It's you know what's interesting is AAA is the writing is all over the place, but the wrestlers are fantastic. If you got some Mid-South writers writing for those luchadores down there, you might have a cohesive storyline. You know, I mean, you have great wrestlers, but nothing makes any sense. You got La Parca jumping off the top rope when he should not be doing that, and then you got some of the best luchadores in the world and no story. It makes no sense. That's all I have to say about that.
I hear you, and I mean, you
Come
know,
on.
it's one of those things where where Penta and obviously his history in AAA, you know, it's so huge. Jim, if you don't mind me asking, how would you book a storyline for the Lucha Brothers?
The Lucha Bros. I mean, I would say I'm not. Carter would say put them against the Young Bucks. We don't need the Buckaroos doing any more victory laps. I mean, honestly, actually, book them against MJF. He's a decent wrestler, but do not put them anywhere near those Buckaroos and Twinkle Toes. They will spoil that dish. That's putting rotten mashed potatoes with a delicious beef steak. Keep the Lucha Brothers as far away from the Buckaroos as you can. Don't tell Carter I said this, but yeah, no, I just I mean, Carter, no, dude, I Young Bucks. I mean, it's the greatest tag team rivalry of all time, the Bucks and the Lucha Bros. But
I agree. It's my fave personally too. Yeah. I love it. That is iconic.
I mean, we've got Brett in the comments. You just saying, I feel bad for Chaos. He's having his time taken by Carty Connect.
Sorry.
The Buckaroos just melted me, by the way. The Buckaroos. You're kidding.
What on earth is going on this show?
Heck of a show. I gotta say though, I mean, look, Grand Slam is what this is all about. And we're coming out of AEW All Out. We're coming out of All In. You know, it's all about booking the end of Grand Slam. And all I'm saying is it's got to be Joe Max. Still, it has to be Joe Max.
Okay, but what is your issue with the idea of MJF versus Roderick Strong, Clark?
I don't think it's a strong enough match to main event a flagship show like that. That's my issue. That's what I keep harkening back to.
Does it come back to you don't think Roderick Strong is in the position where he's enough of a draw?
Yeah, just for not that they can't fill it anyway, like you said, with bolstering the rest of the card, but you have on your fingertips Joe Max Arthur Ashe Stadium. Like ESPN just filmed the entire week of the U.S. Open of tennis from Arthur Ashe, right? Like it's a hot area. It's a huge show in enemy territory, traditionally speaking, right? Yeah. WWE runs the Garden and Barclays and all of that. This is Arthur Ashe. They don't run Arthur Ashe, and it's so historic. It's such a big deal in New York City. You gotta deliver and over deliver on this show, I think. And I mean, that's the difference between last year and the year before, right? You had about 17,000 last year. You had 22 in an instant the year before.
And Danielson versus Omega the year before as well, which was, of course, a big deal there. I mean, we've got escaping dogs, chaos going silent, technical difficulties, and Carter having an identity crisis. But apart from that, it's been a great show, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you're on Twitch, please give us a follow. If you're on Spotify, a cheeky 5 stars would do us lovely. Tomorrow is Mailbag Monday. I said yesterday today was Mailbag Monday. It wasn't. I've been all confused. Tomorrow is a Monday, and if you guys head over to the Wrestling Republic Instagram story, we'll just very, very shortly in the next 10 minutes have an Instagram poll up where we'll be showing you guys, asking you guys for questions. So send them in. We'll answer them on tomorrow's show. Chaos, I don't know what he's trying to... Oh, Peppa Pig. Maybe we'll do a watch along for that. Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Light reading.
Peace.